Laziness is a capitalist ableist concept that doesn't actually exist. Now, before you click off the video and go call me a slur on Twitter, let me explain. First, we must start with defining what laziness even is to begin with. Generally, I think we could agree that laziness is defined as disinclination towards activity or exertion. So, let's now take a moment to examine what might make someone feel disinclined towards activity or exertion. Maybe it's because they're anxious, depressed, or experiencing some other form of mental distress. Maybe it's because they don't know where to start with a task or are struggling to break it down into smaller tasks. Maybe it's because they have a diagnosed or undiagnosed learning disability such as ADHD, dyscalculia, dyslexia, or so on. Maybe it's because they're worried they're not good enough at a task. Maybe it's because of a physical health condition. Again, diagnosed or undiagnosed. Maybe it's due to a lack of belief in the efficacy of a task or usefulness of a task. Maybe it's due to a lack of positive recognition from others, or maybe they're just simply too tired at that moment. Even when we view ourselves as being quote-unquote lazy, it's likely due to a lack of introspection as to why we're not engaging in a certain task. Essentially, what our capitalist society has taught us is that instead of addressing the aforementioned concerns, we should simply go forwards with overworking ourselves, and if we don't, we're a lazy failure. At the end of the day, though, simply labeling somebody as lazy because they can't complete a task at a certain moment or they can't do a task effectively enough in a certain moment helps absolutely no one. It doesn't help those struggling to complete the task. It doesn't help the task get completed. It causes nothing but harm. The idea of laziness as a whole is an incredibly arbitrary attempt to define our worth by our productivity. It is nothing more than capitalist propaganda that harms us all. This construct especially harms disabled folks who are most often labeled as lazy, particularly when we are undiagnosed, self-diagnosed, or considered not disabled enough. And in a world where diagnosis is held behind the walls of capitalist healthcare systems and medical bigotry, and diagnosis carries with it ableist discrimination, mistreatment, and all-around violence, this issue is even more pronounced. Capitalists so terribly want us to believe that our worth is tied to our productivity, while not even justly compensating us when we are productive. Despite this, the intense promotion of the concept of laziness as something to be frowned upon has succeeded in making folks view those who can't or don't work as being the enemy. Through this misfocus, the elite escape all accountability for their mistreatment of disabled folks in the society as a whole. And this must end now. When we take a moment to examine what laziness really is, we quickly realize that it's not some great offense against society and the world. Rather, that it is a sign from our bodies that we are overworking ourselves, not properly accommodated, or something is wrong. Thank you for watching. Follow me on Twitter at IsabellaScarlett2. Follow me on Tumblr, IsabellaScarlett1. Follow me on Instagram at IsabellaScarlett_. And follow me on BlueSky at IsabellaScarlett. Bye!